Hi, my name's Mary and I'm a Girl Scout. For my Girl Scout Gold Award project, I'm teaching children about the New York World's Fairs. This video is a tutorial on how to make your own pavilion using household objects. This activity is great because you get to learn a lot, use your imagination, reuse materials so they don't go to waste, and of course have a lot of fun. Before we get started, let's learn a little bit about the World's Fair.
What in the world is a World's Fair? Well, a World's Fair is an event in which people from all over the world come to showcase their culture and learn about those of others. At these fairs, countries from every corner of the globe displayed aspects of their culture, and companies showcase their new inventions. At these fairs, countries and companies use uniquely designed pavilions to hold their displays. The first New York World's Fair took place from 1939 to 1940 in Flushing Meadows Park in Queens. The symbol of this fair was a trilon and parasphere, which is seen below in the middle picture. 39 countries had displays, and companies such as General Motors, Kodak, and General Electric were present with their inventions. The second New York World's Fair took place from 1964 to 1965. This fair also took place in Flushing Meadows Park, but was not considered a World's Fair officially. The symbol of this fair was the Unisphere, and companies such as Coca-Cola, Disney, Ford, and IBM premiered some of their greatest inventions. Okay, now that you know a little bit about the New York World's Fair, let's get started. In this tutorial, we'll be building the New York State Pavilion, which looks like this. Keep in mind that you can build whatever pavilion you like, whether that's a real one or one you make up. To build the New York State Pavilion, you need the following items: orange, blue, and red tissue paper, white and red paint, a paintbrush, tape or glue, scissors, string, a ruler and pencil, wax paper, yellow construction paper, 8 paper towel tubes, 13 toilet paper tubes, and 3 tin pans. The first step of this building activity is to paint your tubes and pans. You need to paint the paper towel tubes white, 7 of the toilet paper tubes white, and 6 red, and the bottoms of the tin pans white. Okay, so now that we painted all of our tubes, we're going to start working on the extra pieces we'll be using for the roof of the pavilion. So I'm going to be using yellow construction paper for the rim around the top and semi-transparent tissue paper to use for the tiles on the roof. So I'm just going to measure about 2 inches on my construction paper to cut, and I'll do about 2 strips just so I have enough to make it all the way around. Okay, I'm going to put that to the side, give myself more space. And now at the top of the pavilion, there's a pattern of orange, blue, and red tiles, and you can see through them and the light can get through them, so I thought tissue paper would be the best material to use to make that. So all the squares are just little rectangles, so I'll cut a few of each type, and then I'll be placing them on top of the pavilion. Okay, now that we have all of the materials prepared, we're going to be working on the base of our pavilion. So make sure you get all your paper towel tubes and toilet paper tubes ready that you painted, as well as the tin pans. So this New York State Pavilion has a red and white striped base and then large white columns. So I'm going to be using the toilet paper tubes for the base and the paper towel tubes for the columns. For my project, I'm going to be using 6 red and 6 white toilet paper tubes and then 6 white paper towel tubes. So let's get started with the gluing. And also, I'm using hot glue for my project, but you can also use white glue, glue sticks, or tape. And if you decide to use hot glue, make sure you're working with the parent and using it safely so you don't get burned. Okay, so now I finished my base, and just make sure you keep in mind to leave one white paper towel tube behind, toilet paper tube, sorry, and you're going to be using that for one of the towers as the other part of the pavilion. So now I'm going to be making my columns, and I'm going to be using 6 paper towel tubes and using the other 2 for the towers. So the way I decided to place my columns is to put it every other combination of tubes. So there's a space between each one, and in total you should have 6. So now you have the base of your pavilion. So you might want to wait a few minutes to let it dry before you start working on the roof. I'll move this to the side, and in the meantime, I can start building the towers for my structure. So, as part of the New York State Pavilion, there's the rink and then the 3 towers. Each are a different height, so I used a shorter toilet paper tube, a full-length paper towel tube, and I'm going to be trimming this paper towel tube to make it more of a medium height. Okay, so now all you simply have to do to make these are place your tin pans on top of the tower with a little glue, and then you're all set. So this is just a model of what it might look like. Okay, so now we're going to start working on the roof of the structure. So we're going to bring back the yellow construction paper, and I taped it together so it could go all the way around. And I'm just going to measure it so that I know it fits inside the structure. And I just put a little piece of tape on each end so I could get it to fit well. Okay, and now, so this is going to be the inner rim of the pavilion, as you can see. And you can just add a little bit of glue just so it stays in place, or just some tape, whatever you prefer to use. Okay, so now the next part is for the roof. So the way the New York State Pavilion is designed is that there are wires going across the top of the yellow rim, and then there's the tiles on top of it. So I'm going to be using some string to lay across the roof, and then I'm going to be placing my tiles, which I glued to wax paper, on top. But you can also decide to just use string and tape the tiles directly to it. Whatever you think looks better and whatever you can do based on the materials you have. Okay, so as you can see, I just put one string for each to connect each 2 columns, and then I'm going to be placing my roof that I designed in the next few minutes on top of it like that. So it's a little bit easier to do this way, I feel, but whatever way you prefer is up to you.
Okay, so now I'm going to work on my wax paper roof. So for my particular design, what I'm going to be doing is using a circle of wax paper and then laying it on top of the strings, and then gluing the tiles to that. So for what I did to get to this step is just lay a piece of wax paper over the roof of my pavilion and cut a circle that would fit inside of it. So now all you have to do is just put some glue on top, and don't worry that it's white for now, because all kinds of white glue always dry clear, so don't worry about it hurting the look of your pavilion. Now, like I said earlier in the video, the roof of the New York State Pavilion is made up of orange, blue, and red tiles. So I'm going to be using the tissue paper that I cut before to just make a pattern. And like I said, it doesn't have to be exact. Just do something that looks kind of fun and cool, and you should be fine. Okay, so now I have my roof here, and like I said, it doesn't have to be exact, but it kind of gives the same effect of all the tiles that were on the roof. And bringing my pavilion closer, I can just simply tuck it into the yellow rim of the building and balance it on top of the strings, and there you have it, a really cool roof. So now to complete your pavilion, bring in the towers that you set up before using the tin pans and paper towel tubes. And you can put that in the background as they are in real life. And there you have it. You built your very own New York State. So there you have it. That's how you build your very own New York State Pavilion. And like I said earlier, you're not limited to just the New York State Pavilion. You can build whatever you want. All you need is a few household items and a little creativity. And for all you know, you might be designing a pavilion of the World's Fair of the future. Thanks for watching, and I'd love to see what you guys designed.